A Metropolitan Police officer has spoken of his surprise that Priti Patel made an out-of-hours phone call to his superior whilst responding to an Extinction Rebellion protest. Maybe he just likes the sound of her voice. You know, asking about law and stuff. A 14-hour blockade of a newsprinters in Broxbourne on September the 4th, 2020 saw 5 Extinction Rebellion activists arrested who are now appealing their convictions. Now, to be fair, I don't like Extinction Rebellion, but I do care for the law, and currently this should be dropped by the High Court, as I expect it might be, because this is exactly what they're allowed to do at the moment, hence why Pretty Useless and her cronies are trying to change the law on protests and make everything about them illegal, giving police power to arrest anyone at any time. The 5 were found guilty of obstructing the highway during 2 trials at St Albans Magistrates Court in 2021. The protesters are now questioning whether there was a political interference in police actions to shut down the climate change demonstration. Newsprinters, which publishes papers like the Daily Telegraph, the Sun, the Times and the Daily Mail, lost an estimated £1.2 million due to the disruption, which also affected nearby businesses and hotel. One motoring business said it had lost £125,000 due to the disruption. Superintendent Edward Wells, who was Silver Commander, the tactical lead for the response, told St Albans Crown Court that he was aware of political interest in the events as they unfolded. He explained to the court that his role was to come up with a plan to achieve the strategic objectives set out by his Gold Commander, Hertfordshire Assistant Chief Constable Owen Weatherill. The court previously heard how Mr Weatherill's superior, Chief Constable Charlie Hall, had received multiple calls from Home Secretary Priti Patel throughout the night as officers responded to the protest. Which you might expect, to be fair, she is Home Secretary. Superintendent Wells told the court he was aware that Mr Hall had received at least 1 call from the Home Secretary during the night, followed by a conference call in the morning. Raj Chadha, defending, asked Mr Wells if he had ever worked on an incident involving protest removal teams where the Home Secretary had run the Gold Commander. Mr Wells said no. Asked if he was surprised that the Home Secretary had made calls to Mr Hall. He said, I was a bit surprised. Not surprised that an Extinction Rebellion protest was high profile and there was interest from high-ranking politicians, but surprised that an out-of-hours phone call had gone on to the Chief Constable, but I was only aware of 1 phone call and a conference call later in the morning. Well, I'm aware myself of political interference in protests, as I've seen with my own eyes evidence of such over protests by David Chick, Spider Dad Man, or the Spider-Man of Tower Bridge. He climbed a crane to protest, and the political interference which guided the police's reactions to that protest was rife throughout all the information that I've seen. So this certainly does, and no doubt will, continue to happen. Mr Chadha said, no one is saying that the Home Secretary called up and said, let's sort this out. But he went on to ask her if her interest was nevertheless in the mix when it came to responding to the protest. Mr Wells said, yes, it is certainly in the mix for the Gold Commander. Mr Weatherill on Monday denied that he was subjected to political pressure from above when it came to tactical decisions which affected the way officers dealt with the protests. He said the decision to remove the protesters was made using information from officers at the scene, and the aim was to facilitate a lawful protest if that could be done. Of course it was aimed to facilitate a lawful protest. We all believe you. Again, I am no fan of Extinction Rebellion, but if it looks like shit and smells like shit. Big thank you to channel supporters, especially these guys. Your support is truly appreciated. Don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts, as I know many of you will. And until next time, stay safe, look after each other, film the police and other officials.